Hello friends, my name is Dr. Huma Hassan and today we are going to have a discussion on modern synthetic theory. So modern synthetic theory gives us correct explanation which says that in order to understand human evolution and to understand why we have variations among different living organisms, we need to have understanding of both genetics, which is given to us by Mendelian, and also about natural selective process, which is largely given to us by Darwin. So modern synthetic theory emphasizes on the synthesis of both genetics and selective process. Okay, so with the combination of these two broader theories, now we know that how humans or other living organisms have variations. Okay, so now what are the factors? So what are the factors of production and redistributions of variations? So the factors which are responsible for having variations is recombination, mutations, migration, which is also known as gene flow or genetic drift. So this is how now we understand that recombination is crossing over of it's a forming of zygote, then mutations, then natural selections, gene flow and genetic drift. So these are factors which help us to have understanding that how human evolution have variation and how it took place. So this is what you can understand. What do we understand by mutation? So mutation means creating of new alleles, increasing variability. As I explained earlier, recombination is forming of zygote. Okay. Then we have gene flow, increasing similarity of different populations, genetic drift, causing random change of allele frequencies, and then we have non-random mating and natural and sexual selection. So this is here in details which we can understand that what is recombination. So in sexually reproducing species, both parents contribute genes to the offsprings and the genetic information is reshuffled in every generation. So as in organisms, I have got genetic information from my father and also from my mother. So they both combined, so we have got what we can say the first cells in humans, that is zygote. Okay, so first genetic information I have got from my parents. Okay, so this is what you can understand as recombination. Then what is mutations? So it is like alteration, changing. Okay, so changing in genetic material is called mutation. So for evolutionary significance, it must happen in sex cells, that is sperm or ovary egg. So two types of mutations we have. So again I am just giving you explanation. Then in molecular biology, what it means? Mutations are changes in the DNA sequence of a cell's genome. So just simply remember what is mutation. Mutation is, you can understand that our DNA sequence is now changed. So what you understand, for example, recombination. So recombination, it's like I have got chromosomes from my father. So this is represented as triangle in kinship, and also from my mother. So when they got fused, that is recombination. And then in the second process, it's mutation. So the DNA information now, which I have got it from my parents, it's now, there is a change in the genome. So what is genome? Genetic structure. Again, you can understand the definition, because often I have seen that aspirants have a lot of discussion, have a little confusion with mutation and all. Basically, those who have not studied their class 10th biology, I would say with focus, they generally have a problem. Otherwise, it doesn't matter whether you are coming from science background or social science background. It is basics biology. Okay, so mutation. So mutation are structural change in genomic DNA which can be transmitted from a cell to its daughter cells. Okay, so when from the first, like from the parent cell, when we get another cells, okay, daughter cells. Okay, so this is a mitosis and meiosis process which you people should know. Okay, so this is what you can say, this is a mutation. Then we get changes after mutation, that is gene flow. So migration or gene flow is a movement of genes from one population to another due to choosing of mates outside one's group, or it can be in migration or out migration. Alright, so what is gene flow? So gene flow is that the movement, and then genetic drift. So what is genetic drift? So chances fluctuation of gene frequencies may lead to appreciable genetic differences between completely isolated subpopulation. So this is what you can understand with. So genetic drift randomly. So these are chance events that cause allele frequencies to fluctuate unpredictably from one generation to the next generation. So we do not know when, what type of information I am going to get it from my both of my parents. So that is something you can understand, genetic drift. So it's a random change in allele frequency. So allele is like DNA. So it's a random change, we do not know. So occurs in small population that break away from larger groups. So this is what you can understand. Okay. Then natural selections. So the evolutionary factors discussed above, we should know. It is natural selection. We do not know. It is a result of genetic variation. So you can say that natural selection is a change in allele frequency relative to specific environmental factors, which is called as adaptation. Okay. So then we should understand that it is natural selection which help us to get evolved. So in natural selection, which you have to understand that whatsoever dominant trait will be there, it will be expressed in our phenotype. So that is what we have to understand, that natural selection is something that during this genetic drift process, so which type of genetic materials we will have, it totally depends on natural selection. Okay, so that is what you can understand. So this is it, and then we have selection process. So in nutshell, what I have to explain here is that modern synthetic theory suggests that human evolution occurs due to combination of genetic understanding and natural understanding. So this is largely we can understand about modern synthetic theory. So we have to have comprehensive explanation of organic evolution that requires synthesis of both genetics and selective process. Thank you so very much, and in next lecture we are going to have a discussion on primates and some other maybe on primates or some other principles. Thank you so very much.